Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, brothers and sisters. Hope all of you. I need to start that again. Assalamu alaikum.
We don't get to start it again.
This is live,
Didn't
bro.
finish properly. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, brothers and sisters. We hope that all of you are doing well. Welcome to another show of TMF Fridays. Today we've got another special guest with us, brother Rizwan Wadan. Assalamu alaikum, brother.
Wa alaikum salam wa
Good to have you
rahmatullahi
today.
wa barakatuh.
So Rizwan Wadan, aka Mr. Helix, aka
Riz.
Riz.
AKA Riz. AKA Rizwan.
Yeah. So Rizwan Wadan, in a nutshell, filmmaker,
Yep.
and the rest I'll let you explain.
Yeah, father of daughters. Plenty of them, alhamdulillah. But yeah,
Mashallah.
filmmaker,
Mashallah.
alhamdulillah. I've been working my way up in the filming industry for a fair few years, alhamdulillah. You know, so yeah, working on. When you say filmmaker, what does that even mean? What does that even mean? What's a filmmaker?
Hold on, Riz. Like, just get it out and above, because I know you're not going to say it unless we drag it out of you. Like, when we say working on films, like, what kind of films have we been working on here, Riz?
What kind of films?
Yeah, like, we're talking like some C-grade films that
We're
don't.
talking about Nollywood, yeah?
Yeah.
Talking about some sort of,
There's nothing wrong with Nollywood, bro.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah, what kind of films have you? What kind of films have you worked on, my brother?
Worked on projects such as like Star Wars, Rogue One. Did a lot of R&D with my system, but worked on Lufa with Idris Elba. Worked on Gorilla. Worked on currently working on and off on Disney's Artemis Fowl. Worked with Emma Stone and Rachel Weisz on a feature film that's going to come out this year called The Favourite. Plenty of sort of like loads of Netflix dramas and.
So we're
fine
talking like
commercials.
mainstream.
Yeah,
we're not
We're
talking.
talking about projects that can range from having a budget of 300-400 million for one film that's gonna entertain people for maybe about an hour and a half of their lives, and that's how much money's been spent on it. And that's the sort of budget that they spend on projects, and I just have been working on stuff like that. And then also high-end commercials, and even commercials, they spend a couple of £100,000 on a commercial, or £1 million just on a commercial, and stuff like that. So it's kind of something that the Muslim community has absolutely no idea on, and nor do they value it, nor do they understand how to what the value of this this medium is. And we've got cameras there. We're still slowly stepping into it. Yeah. Slowly.
And sorry, touching on what you're saying, that the Muslim world not really used to it. How do you find it being like a pretty Muslim
guy,
Muslim?
yeah.
I mean,
Really stand out.
you're not really hiding it very well.
No,
you know what I mean?
I'm not. I don't need to hide
yeah.
it, alhamdulillah.
So like,
Yeah, straight in your
how
face.
is it like? Because that's not something
shoot
really.
You're gonna know about it.
Yeah, I mean, how many? Like, I'm assuming I don't know of many besides you of Muslims in that industry. I mean, what's it?
I'm pretty much the only Muslim that's achieved what I have achieved in the industry. And what I mean by that is I've helped to develop a camera stabilization technology, and a lot of people now are familiar with these little things that they put on their phones, and the phones stay stable and all that sort of stuff. But I've helped to develop a system that can stabilize Panavision film cameras. And those, when I say Panavision film cameras, these are cameras that are used on projects like Star Wars, Bond,
The big boy cameras.
big boy cameras. You turn over 10 minutes on that, or a roll of 10 minutes. That's like to process all of that, you're looking at about £6,000-7,000 on a budget. And when feature films deal with that, they're looking at budget of 20 grand to process just one can of 20. And then they go through those cans like nothing. These magazines, we're calling a can a magazine. That's what it's called. And you go through a lot of those, and it's just money basically.
And you're not the only Muslim. You're actually the only person.
I'm the only person in the world that stabilized that in the world. And I'm not just a Muslim. I'm currently the only person who's done that. I'm the only person who's achieved that. There's a few things. There's potentially calls for technical achievement awards and stuff like that are possibly up and coming. But I've been focusing over the last year since the Borough Market attack and the Westminster attack, and I just decided to put a stop to what I was doing, like in the way that I was committed to just continuing with my career. I decided to work towards making a project that can tackle social political issues, especially help to take away the stigma that's attached to Islam and Muslims, which is the root cause of it. All of this, Islamophobia, the whole thing is terrorism. That we are, Islam promotes terrorism, it promotes violence. We are responsible for this, and all of this since 9/11 has been, it's excelled and it's gone. It's been pushed. it's really sped up in that direction, and we had the rise of like Tommy Robinson and these sort of characters and whatever, and you know you've got these sort of issues that are happening. So I felt the need to tackle these socio-political issues through film, and I decided to do that. So I've taken some time off.
SubhanAllah, it's interesting that you're using what you know and your skills and everything to kind of push that in the right direction and to give a, you know, to get kind of earn the respect back of the Muslims, because obviously nowadays media is used very, very heavily to defame us. So he's trying to use that same platform to kind of get our honour back, kind of thing.
The way I see it, I sat down with Sarah Bradshaw, who's the exec producer and who's supporting me with a few other with the Air and Terror project, and you know trying to a couple of other things as well. So I had a meeting with her, and she's quite supportive. And she said to me, Riz, it's not that. You know, she said there's when people say why aren't there many Muslims or black people in the industry or whatnot, you know, because ultimately change will come into the industry when there are people who have those sort of thought, because a film will come from somebody's idea, from their mind and thought process, and then their ability to actually carry that out and make it happen. And it just so happens that we've been behind on film for 100 years. So when we say we blame the media, really and truly we need to blame ourselves, because we're not involved in it. You can't blame the media for not representing your views. That's what they understand. That's the understanding they've had for how many ever years that they've been, whoever's the producer, whoever the person is in charge, that's the way they see the world. That's the way they see Muslims and Islam. So that's the way they're going to portray it. Now, who's going to provide a counter narrative? They're not going to do it for you. And by going and, you know, screaming and shouting at embassies and asking to, and this is why I got involved in the filming industry in the first place, why I picked up the camera. Because I had, after a film called Innocence of the Muslims was made, it was a derogatory movie about Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. I watched the film. People were asking to boycott it. I watched it. I wanted to see what is wrong with this. What is the attack on Islam? What is the attack on our messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam? Because unless you understand what is going on here, you can't react to it. You can't deal with it. You can't, you know, provide a counter narrative. And I realized there and then that something needs to be done. And then it only hit me when through the WhatsApp messenger, and hear me out when I say messenger, through a messenger, we got text messages saying boycott Google, boycott YouTube, because we'll damage so many billion by these corporations, by so many billion.
I remember getting that text.
Hold on a minute. I thought, hold on a minute. If I boycott Google, boycott YouTube, then that's like, for me, I felt we're giving a free platform to people to carry on promoting and making videos. You're not going to stop them. You're not going to stop people from portraying Islam and Muslims in a certain way, because that's the way they understand it, from their ignorance, hatred, or whatever it is, misunderstanding, political issues, whatever it is.
It's going to carry on.
It's going to carry on. So what are we doing? Oh yeah, let's pretend like ostriches and think like the problem's gone away. So I just thought to myself, how did Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala look at the seerah of the messengers and look at the way that they were, that for example, let's say the Prophet alayhi salam, people of Thamud, they're giants. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala didn't send a midget to deal with the problem. He sent somebody who was a giant, and also when the matter had to be dealt with, he smashed them. Like when it came down to it, he was more powerful than them. He overpowered them. So he was given that ability, and that's what the people of that time. That's what their fitna was. That's the trial that they had. They had power and strength over others, and that's what their thing was to have that. And you look at Musa alayhi salam, magic was the thing. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala didn't send him, he sent him to the household of Pharaoh, to the worst of the person, to the worst of people. Didn't say boycott them, don't talk to them, don't go and negotiate with them.
Go and deal with them.
Yes, go and talk with them, go and have a dialogue with them, and go and deal with them. We have this mentality, we can't deal with this person, you can't deal with that person, you can't talk to this person. And it's like, that's not how you deal, that's not even the seerah of the messengers.
Yeah, that's not how you deal with the problem.
That's not even the way it is. They didn't boycott anyone, they didn't boycott any means. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala also gave him ability to deal with magic, with the real thing. Isa alayhi salam, medicine. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave him the ability to heal the leper. Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, Islamophobia was through poetry. Along with other miracles, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala answered it with the Quran. Smashed it completely and utterly, all of their dialogue that was happening. So currently, communication and the trial and tribulations of our day and age, and actually the medium of communicating, and film is a form of communication, and people don't understand that in the Faculty of Arts, in universities, film and language fall under the Faculty of Arts. Yes. That's basically where they fall. That's what it is. It's a form of communication. Languages we speak. This medium captures visual, people, and what they say. And you can script things and capture things and message things, and you hear about subliminal messages, you hear about all of that. You hear because it's messages that people put inside something. So we've just got to learn from 100 years of film and the way that this medium has been utilized. And we're not asking, and I'm not doing something that's brand new. This has been going on for a very long time. We're just the retards that are just so behind on it.
They're just caught up on it now.
That's simple as I can put it. People who are not involved in this, don't value this. There's something wrong with you, and if you can, help, then if you're not looking at this as a viable option, and you're just not sort of doing anything about it, and you need to wake up. Really need to wake up. Smell the coffee.
Talking about like getting into it, how do you advise someone to get into it?
First of all, make the sincerest dua you can possibly make. So before I picked up a camera, so when I got that message, I made a dua to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. I said, oh Allah, utilize me to serve you. I said, help me to represent Islam and Muslims to a wider non-Muslim audience. And what I meant by that, the wider non-Muslim audience, is that I felt, with all due respect to Islam channel, Iman channel, it wasn't formed then, but Islam channel, any other Muslim channel, they're doing a great job with producing content that is targeted for their audience. And even then, it's kind of questionable, does it actually relate? Can Muslims who are younger, the younger audience, actually, to be honest with you, I'm just going to be blunt. It's whack, yeah? Even Muslims don't watch it on a general level.
I don't watch it.
You don't watch it. It's the reality of it. The next generation are not watching that sort of content, and it's not engaging them. But obviously the religious lectures and everything, that's worth more than anything. It's worth more than even one little talk about, La ilaha illallah is worth more than any sort of big budget feature that you can even talk about. And those, you've got to respect it where it is. But dunya-wise, forget deen, you look at dunya-wise engagement, what are you doing, how are people understanding? So for me, it was non-Muslim audience. So comparing it to creating content that can be relatable and that can engage non-Muslims, the wider non-Muslim audience. And what do I mean by that? People that are easily susceptible and can be victims to extremist ideologies from like the far right side. So individuals who've never experienced, so basically 95% of the country who do not know Muslims, who are not living in the bubbles that we live in, because we live in our small communities and we think this is England. You have no idea what England is. The 51% of the Brexit vote has showed us what England is, and there's a growing problem, and people don't, and what people see people who are outside of our communities, what they see of Islam is what they see in movies, what they see in the news, and these things had to be understood. So when you talk about, so for myself, I made that dua for Allah to help me to represent Islam and Muslims to a wider non-Muslim audience. So it's understanding, when you say to get into it, make your intention, make dua, make effort. You're going to be required to make sacrifice somewhere, because life requires that. It's just Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala requires that. It's just one of those things. Whichever your sacrifices will be, you'll have to make them, and then repeat, because you'll get to a point where you've learnt something, you've learned how to film, you've learned how to do something, then you're gonna have to gain another skill. It's just you go back to square one. So for the last 8 years or whatever it is since I picked up a camera, it's just been, and now I'm learning the art of delegation, learning how to get teams together. I'm starting to pull people in. I'm able to now say, okay, we've got this project to do here. You look like a good person who can do this. You can look like somebody, okay, you work with this person, you take this project on, and I'm starting to build a team together to do that. So I can, and I made a dua for that as well. The funny thing is, every single step of my way has been a dua. And my whole journey has got miraculous traits to it. Because look at my face, the Muslim face, and look at the projects I work on. There's no way that I'd be working on those projects unless it was some divine decree involved in there. Just no chance. I'm not going to get in there. It's all nepotism and all this. People look at me sometimes and think, what is this guy doing here? And then I come out with this exoskeleton suit and it look like Terminator, Muslimic Terminator. You're the guy that, you know that guy, the Muslimic ray gun guy. That's what he's talking about. Seriously.
So when you come out with your stuff, they know that obviously you're the deal.
Yeah, I mean, I had one guy. I'll tell you something funny. That happened on set. So I've gone on set. It's a Reebok advert. I've gone on set in the morning. I'm not shooting in the morning. So I'm going to shoot in the evening. So I've got this, I'm going to put the suit on, armor up for the afternoon. So at lunchtime, I'm sitting there, producer's there, director's there, and this actor sits down next to me, and he says, "All right, mate, how you doing? You drove us down, didn't ya?" I was like, yeah. Yeah. He's like, "Oh, yeah." I was like, "I wasn't driving too fast, was I?" He's like, no. I was like, because it's just like, I speed sometimes, but I can't help it because I come from a whole long lineage of like, my father come from a lineage of drivers, man. My dad was a driver, his dad was a driver, my great-grandfather transported people on horses and carriages, bruv. He's like, yeah. I was like, yeah, man. I was like, but you know what? I decided not to follow in the footsteps of my father. I decided I was going to drive around stars. people like you, man. I was going to drive you guys around. Why do I want to be driving around people just here and there?
Yeah.
No way. I'm driving the celebrities, the A-listers like you guys. It's like he was starting to get like a little. He was looking. He could sense something not right, but he wasn't. You know, he was still completely believable. But anyway, left him with that. The director's laughing on the side. DOP and literally producers like in cracking up, thinking, "Oh my god." Anyway, straight up, I'm armed up, offset. I step onto set and he's there now, standing there, and I'm shooting him, and literally his face is just dropped, his jaw's on the floor.
Yeah.
Literally, as soon as I wrapped, I shot the shots and everything. I walked up to him and I said to him, "Listen, I hope your career moves as fast as mine did." I've just been asked I've just stepped up real quick. Wish you best of luck, mate. And I walked off and he was like, "Oh my god."
Wow.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
So,
that's one of those funny stories, man.
What kind of projects are you working on at the moment then? Like your own personal ones rather than...
personal ones. At the moment, alhamdulillah, we've worked on a project called Muslims of London, which was inspired by Humans of New York. So it's a stylistic, short little snippets. So we take people stylistically through London and we shine a light on the soul of the Muslim community. And we basically take it's aimed at non-Muslims and it's aimed to show... it's online. We didn't want to get it commissioned. It's really high. It's produced to a high standard.
Yeah.
It's not like
Well, if you're behind the camera, I can imagine.
I've had people say to me, "Why didn't you get it commissioned? Why isn't this? Like, you spoke to me. I could have got it." It's like, no, because what we want that project to be is when somebody types up no-go zone areas, or somebody from abroad types in Muslims in London, this attack or that attack, or this terrorist or that, they come across this. They come across, oh, hold on a minute, that's a Niqabi sister. That's a Niqabi and. She sounds American and she's skateboarding. What the heck's that all about? And just all sorts of different little things, and they're like, it's just like completely defeats their sort of, it opens their mind, inshallah. And it needs to, because when you commission something, it may not necessarily remain on free, sources. It then gets shelved. So this is aimed to be there so that it's just there. It's free information, inshallah. So it represents us. It gives us it shows the human element of our. Community based.
But that's some high quality stuff though. We'll watch those videos. It's like
just to differentiate, because the work you do for others, for like your Star Wars film and stuff, your own personal projects, it's pretty much of the same quality, isn't it?
Well, the way I saw it as well is that you call to the way of your Lord with wisdom and beauty. Beautiful preaching. Call to the way of your Lord with wisdom and beautiful preaching. And this is a form of communication, right? So if it's a form of communication, then what you have to do is understand the wisdom of it, how this wisdom of utilizing this means and this medium. And the masters of this means and medium are people in the West, people in the filming industry. And what people have to understand is that BBC and Channel 4, ITV, all of these, CBC, CNB, all of these news channels, right? They all have, and they push a factual narrative in the media of the world that they think they want you to know that's the reality, and that's what they push in their news channels. All of these channels own film studios. So, BBC Films, Channel 4, Film 4, ITV is part of Viacom, Paramount, 21st Century Fox, Fox News, It's just like, and 21st Century, literally every single news outlet has a factual. So then what happens is that's the world news, and then whoever's the producers, they'll then make films about that, and that's why you see that the line between what's real and I believe is my reality and the world that I live in, that's never really shown in the media, and I don't, it becomes more blurred. So the rest of the public think, actually, that's the truth. So it's a conditioning, and so that keeps happening. So for me, it was about beautiful wisdom. So there's a wisdom in how you apply and create content, how you script something, the story you need to tell. So the wisdom needs to be applied in scripting, storytelling, the pre-production, the production, the messaging, what you're trying to do, how does it need to be done, what is the story going to storyboard. There's a whole process in the wisdom element of it, which involves pre-production, production, post-production, obviously concept design as well at the back of it. So all of these things are the wisdom before you even see it. So that element of it you have to learn. So you can't learn it overnight, but alhamdulillah, that's something that I knew from day one that I needed to be done with wisdom. And I didn't chase all the Muslim channels because I knew they didn't have it to cater for the non-Muslim audience, unfortunately. And then for creating the beauty element of it. So it needs to be done with wisdom and beautiful preaching. Cinematography, what's that all about? It's all about beauty. It's all about beautiful shots, beautiful cinematography. It's all about beauty, and the beauty is what engages you. You look at these shots and you think, whoa. And
You get engaged, yeah.
And it's beautifully told. Stories are beautifully told. You know, so it needs to be done with wisdom and beauty. And you know what? Honestly, it just depresses me to see how far back we are. It's just like, you know, I feel like I felt previously like not a lone ranger, but I still feel kind of alone in my mission, because a lot of people just don't get it.
And we're still behind. Yeah,
we're still behind. They don't get it. They don't understand. You know, we don't understand what PR is. You know.
Yeah, sure.
People just not taking it seriously.
People not taking it seriously.
And then we have this whole thing of, the media's doing this and the media's doing that. Yeah.
Seriously, if you're talking and not making effort, just slap yourself, please.
Yeah,
why do you think we're behind though?
Because we are basically, one of the things was that images are haram. You know, the media, I don't want to use foul languages, but in India, you know, it's been looked at as a negative career. You know, we've been taught to be engineers, doctors, and then if that all fails, or if we don't become dentists, we fall, and then we work with our family and expected to work in the family business. If that fails, then we become the driving force of like London, Uber, or whatever it is. You know, we become doers. We doers. So we don't. So we never thought that this is a possibility. So there's an element of this as well. And plus, we come in this country, we're a new sort of, you know, we're first, second, third generation immigrants and stuff like that. How much are we gonna really, you know? We had our own problems coming back from but ding ding land. So, you know, to deal with like what we're going to tell our children to be. So you know, the first, all the responsibility for pretty much every chairman in this country was to try and find a place of build a mosque so we can find a place to pray. Now that's not the problem. Building a place of mosque is not the problem. Now people are questioning mosques shouldn't even exist. So you've built mosques, but then you've neglected what youth projects, what you're going to do with the younger generation. So we've got drugs, this, that, the other, culture, this, other things that are pulling youth apart, even if it's not drugs, there's women. Yeah. All sorts of stuff is pulling the youth away from the mosques. So there's hardly any initiatives, because all the older generation have thought about is just like making a place to pray. Let's change the carpets. Let's make it look good. Let's do that.
Which was all right at that time. But as for
right.
Do you think so?
No, if you think about it, Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, you know, when they're talking about building fantastic places for himself, what was the concern? It's always been, those things will come. The concern was never this lavish outside. It's all the inside. But, you know, I get it. We need to move with the times and have representing our architecture.
We can look at it as they done what they could in their power. Now it's down to us to,
it's down to us. And it's down
to
them
if it wasn't
to actually support us.
Well,
that's the main thing.
Chapatis all day long.
Yeah, what I think is that at their time when they did come and there wasn't no masjids and stuff like that, if they didn't put that effort in, then we wouldn't have these lavish places to pray in. But the thing is, as time has gone on, we've neglected the fact of trying to move with the times. So now when we've got the younger generation here that are growing up in this country and facing all the drugs and crime and all that kind of stuff, we're not creating any initiatives.
Sisters,
brothers. So we're not creating any initiatives for those, and we're not moving. We're still focused on making the masjid look nice and the carpets and all that kind of stuff. Whereas we're not thinking about getting the youth involved. And there's only a handful of masjids that actually get the youth involved and say that, okay, you guys are reaching out to the youth.
Can I put it simply in a way that the committee members will appreciate this? The youth are your donors. Yeah, they give you money. Simple as that. If you don't get those, if you don't treat them well and make sure that they keep coming back to the masjid, your donations are going to drop. Because for some reason, that's all these people care about.
It is, I mean, but...
I'm sorry to be
obvious.
A
lot of masjids
that escalated quickly.
About the donations, but like, you know what you were saying?
I shouldn't say that. They care about
the society.
Just, you know.
Obviously, they care about us.
They care about us.
Society nowadays, like the youth, why they're not getting involved in masjids? I don't know what you guys think.
It's a masjid. Don't speak.
Cool. That's cool. Isn't it? That's cool. But anyways, I think don't you think that they've been given it on a plate? That's why maybe they're not
given what on a plate.
How everything is built. They're not concerned about building a masjid. It's there already.
The youth.
Yeah.
You're saying okay, yeah.
They're not concerned about it. Maybe that might be an issue.
Do you think that's it, bro? There's no youth initiatives. There's no youth initiatives. There's nothing.
It's true.
I think there's no
youth
initiatives.
Initiatives.
If you don't have youth
if we was to have like
out from like do some fun things or whatever it is, activities and whatnot. If that's not there, then you know what kids gonna come down. Look,
true.
Kids are gonna carry on doing stuff they're doing. Either they're gonna get out there, smoke drugs, smoke trees. Go out there and do whatever they're gonna do, and the dangers of what's outside. Even in the houses, they're all playing video games anyway. So there's a Pandora's box that's open. It's open in everyone's house, pretty much, almost. Not everyone, but almost everyone's house, and it's there, and you can't avoid it. it's in their public schools. It's around their friends.
Yeah, you
So
can't.
you need
stop
to
it.
channel it and control it. You're gonna have to be able to provide children what they need: a space, youth programs, something. If you don't provide it, then then why are they gonna just come down to a place where they're just gonna pray 5 times a day and told to shut up and sit in the back?
Yeah, it's
It's
true.
true.
It's true.
But I mean, talking about like moving more over to you, is this the kind of a career that you think will be beneficial
Hold
for
on,
a Muslim youth?
sorry, 1 second. Sorry to cut you off. Yeah, but I'm still gonna cut you off. So,
Boyd.
you know, a lot of people ask
Straight.
about our logo, and they say that why is the logo got such a big beard when none of us have a beard that side.
It's Riz.
Well, I just want you guys to know that beard is actually Riz's beard.
It's a Smurf Riz.
He's the guy behind the scenes pulling the strings. So that's Riz's beard. Yeah, but you can ask your question. Go on.
I forgot now. I just got distracted by Riz's blue
Oh, the
beard.
career, you're saying, can we see how you're going to basically,
Yeah.
is there an opportunity and is there...
Is there something you'd advise? I'm assuming there must be. You must go through somewhat more struggles than the normal.
Man, I've had to refuse shoots. I've had to say, I can't shoot this because you turn up on a big set, you don't know what the script is. They don't tell you that. You ain't got the right to know that. So you turn up and, there's some madness that's going on. You have to just be like, right, I can't do this. And you're going to have to just, between you and at that time, you know what? It's film has a very military-esque etiquettes, okay? The etiquettes are very sort of army-like. There's a code of conduct, there's a hierarchy.
It's written
there's
in
a
stone
chain
the
of
way
command.
things are. Yeah.
You do not say no. You're not expected to say no.
Is it?
Yeah, you cannot come there and say, I'm not going to do this.
Wow.
That's detriment to your career, whatnot. I've had to say no on a massive shoot around people who, some of these crews, there were 3 crews actually, and most of them worked on like Avengers and Bond and stuff like that. In front of them, I've had to say, I can't shoot this.
I think that's quite interesting what you're saying there, because it goes to show, like, especially now that we're seeing this Harvey Weinstein and all of these things. But well, that's a good sign. But like, it goes to show that what you're saying about these people don't say no. That's why these people can. I'm assuming they can get away with things. That's quite interesting. That would Bill Cosby and all of them, man. There,
you say no, you're not getting the job. So it's questionable why do they say? For me, look, it's all wrong. But if somebody gets abused and stuff, they need to speak up. And why did they not speak up earlier?
I mean, that's a whole different,
story and whatnot. But if something wrong happens to you at that moment, you should stop. Just the way I did. For me, I saw something wrong, so I can't do it. So that's basically the way I see it. So as a Muslim, you'd have to just put full stop, say no, I can't do that. So you have to have your limits, and you have to know that ultimately, if you do something, you can't undo it. It's done. And it's going to stay with your conscience. It's going to stay with you till the day that you take it with you and beyond. So if you're asked to do something dodge, then you better be sure why you're doing it. So there's things. So this career, just like anything, there's good and there's bad. Just like every single thing, there's there's a balance in life. Okay, completely, in everything you do. Simple as that.
So if like our viewers now, they wanted to do projects that you're doing,
Like
how would
what?
you advise them? Like Muslims, what was it, Muslims of London?
Yep.
Yeah.
They can there's actually a way to get involved with us now. So we are going to be holding an event. Hopefully, inshallah, there'll be shout outs going out, so you guys can put a shout out too.
Inshallah.
There'll be so we're going to do an event. I haven't figured the name yet of the event, but it's basically about empowering yourself through the camera. So it's empowering yourself through the media, basically. And we're talking about practical empowerment through the media. So how do you practically do it? There's been quite a few great talks from Mend and people like that about empowering and how to tackle media and all this. But we're talking about actually how do you, what I'm saying to you is that the control and the power is from behind the camera. Utilize that, control your narrative. And you know what? You'll find that the non-Muslim community are waiting to see our world. They're waiting. They just wait. They want to see it. They want to know. But somebody's going to have to go and do it. They're not going to do it. They're not
there's not a lot of us doing it anyway.
And to be honest, it takes time to learn this as well. And if you're going to do it,
it's a lot of time and effort.
But don't be whacking doing it. Just keep mastering. Like I've got so many projects that I could just have out, but I don't put them out because until they're not right. So learn patience. Create something and launch it once it's ready. Don't just make it and just put whack out there because it's a representation of your faith and whatever you believe in and your skills in it. Keep it there, show it to your friends, let them laugh at it, and then delete it forever and improve. Because I've got projects when I first started out. Honestly, oh my god, I'm not even going to talk about it.
God, you might as well tell us and give us some exclusives.
Oh, I'll give you one exclusive. I remember when I first went out with my camera, and it was some sort of a mosque that got burnt down or a community centre that was burnt down, and I went there with my camera, and I was very technical, so I learned all the technical bits first. So I learned how to set up cameras and rig them up with beautiful rigs and all this sort of stuff, and learned to like put all these sound devices, mix pre-Ds, and it was sort of state-of-the-art rig stuff, right?
Yeah.
So even the BBC cameramen were looking at my rig at that time. They were like, wow, this is interesting, this is cool. Yeah. Even these cameramen were coming out and looking at it. But I didn't know the filming process. So we had this one interview that was a static interview, one shot of somebody talking about an incident that happened somewhere else. I didn't even get any coverage. So when I went back, I looked at this interview, 4 minutes long, and I said, this is absolute whack. If I can't be watching this, how is someone else going to watch it? And I was like, no. And at that moment, I just decided I'm going to have to seriously learn. And I took over 44 courses online on lynda.com. Lynda is now LinkedIn Learning. It's the best tool that you can get. Pay for it. Don't be a cheapskate. And just get on there and learn, because it'll teach you so much practically. If I had to study online, if I had to study through the academic route, all of these courses that I did, I'd still be studying now 10 years later, like I'd be still studying. What you could learn in a year is what you'd learn over 10 years.
Wow.
You know, but obviously you have to spend hours a day, because these are like 24-hour courses, 40-hour courses, 80-hour courses. Of course, they get spread an hour a week, you know, and then you got holidays, this, that, the other. Basically, academic route is for mugs, for film. If you really, seriously, what they say in the filming industry is that the things that
As with most things in life,
I'm
finding out.
I've heard a lot of people say that.
I don't want
Yeah.
to be crude, but it's like you could take the biggest dump of your life and wipe your backside away with your MA degree, because when you come into the industry,
It's
like
totally different,
you're
yeah,
gonna
yeah.
come and
It's
start
true.
fresh.
That's with a lot of things, though, isn't it?
Yeah, a lot.
Yeah.
So that
I've
means
actually
like
heard a
why
lot.
Work.
Yeah.
So when you're 16, if you know you want to be in film, that's what you want to do. Get involved, practically get involved. Forget this degree business and all that. You know,
Yeah.
seriously. Unless you want to.
I don't think a lot of parents
I
are
don't
going to
know,
like
man.
us.
But that's the
doing
thing,
that.
is there's not a lot of it. That's the thing, is it's a vicious circle. It's a vicious.
Wait, hold on. Riz has got kids as well, so he knows where he's coming from.
My kids are homeschooled, alhamdulillah.
Oh,
The
alhamdulillah.
academics.
It's a vicious circle, isn't it? Someone wants to do it, their parents don't want them to do it, they want them to get a degree, but if they want to get a degree, it doesn't mean nothing, so it just carries on forever, isn't it? That
If you
vicious
want to
circle.
get a degree for your parents, then tell them to go get it themselves.
Until they show you their one behind the
Until they
kitchen.
show you.
they're
So
like,
if you want
what
another one,
they
Dad,
say.
feel free. I'll be home learning and doing my thing. I'll feed the family.
Yeah.
You chill out, go university.
I mean,
it's a very new approach.
It's
but
somewhat true. I mean, we're not in the fields of our degrees, to
Yeah,
be fair.
sure.
So
hardly anyone else. And
Yeah.
these days, there's how many
Nothing
people
to
you're
do.
competing with.
yeah.
And then what do they ask you? How much experience have you got?
Yeah.
And they look at our face. You got too much experience.
Yeah,
So we need to think outside the box of what we're
This
about
is
to do.
life,
We need to
innit?
create our own industry. We've got 2 billion Muslims, right? And Bollywood, Nollywood, Chollywood, Collywood, and Tollywood, and whatever Hollywoods there are, they exist and they're sustainable and they make money. So we can make entertainment, but it just needs to be really valuable. Nobody's going to pay for cheap clothing. Nobody's going to pay for cheap content. If it's poorly produced, no one's going to pay for it. So people only pay for something that's good.
So the type of things that we're speaking about, are you saying you are already involved or looking to get involved in things like that are going to go?
I'm already doing stuff. So
Yeah.
if anyone wants to get involved, they contact us, contact you guys. We're doing an event. Come down. We show you what we're doing. We show you some short films that we produce. There's some stuff going on behind the scenes. There's skills that we can teach you that you would never learn anywhere else apart from in the filming industry, but only the worthy, and we'll have to select. So
you're really looking to take this up to the next level,
take it
basically.
to the next level.
Yeah.
Get people up there, get them trained up, get film crews ready, because if you look at the credit list at the end of a movie,
Yeah.
you don't see one man,
Yeah.
you see hundreds of people,
Hundreds of people, yeah.
thousands of people
Yeah.
on big blockbusters and all that.
Yeah.
So it takes those many people, like it takes a huge number of people to make a film.
Put something together.
So it's not about what the Muslim community think. A film is one guy with a camera, a busted up tripod,
Yeah.
and going around and making a film. That's not a film. That's documentary. That's that's one person can do that, a documentary. But that's not film. Film is a whole new ball game. Film is where we're able to go and tackle socio-political issues and
You're
deal
pushing a
with things
certain
and
narrative in it, and it's not
just-
easy.
and
Yeah.
it's acceptable. It's respected. If you're
Yeah.
gonna pick up a camera and shoot someone, make sure it's not AK-47 or M16. Make sure it's like a cine camera or it's a Canon 5D. If you're gonna shoot with something, you shoot with the right Canon.
Yeah.
If you're gonna shoot with something, shoot with
We
the right
found
weapon.
that out the hard
Red
way,
weapon.
yeah.
That's what they call them. So use the right tools of the day and age, and a platform where it's accepted. This is a platform. This is the modern day. Go out there, represent, do good, and people appreciate it. And you know what? You'll find support from non-Muslims. Even the Erin Terror Project, people don't understand it at the moment. We put like a GoFundMe thing on. It's kind of sad though, because people don't get it. They don't even look at it. Maybe they're just scared if we type on terrorism or something, that maybe the FBI is going to start monitoring us. It just like shakes people or something.
Yeah.
We got to deal with it. We got to deal with it head on.
What is the Erin Terror Project?
Erin Terror Project is aiming to tackle these issues head on. So for example, hate, extremism and terrorism, and separate it from religion, separate it from Islam, separate it from religion. It's a project that's aimed to work with the communities. It's not aimed at, you know, like just being a Muslimic thing. You know, it's aimed at being a thing that highlights the error and terror. So if there are different, if their communities, like if the far right are creating, you know, a problem, or they are carrying out acts of violence, then we highlight that. So we start with one that's about a Muslim, and we separate Islam from extremism and terrorism in a very creative way, in a way that's never been done before, and basically, you know, take away from the stereotype that, you know, basically it's something that will, it's a creative way and a campaign that's aimed to tackle this issue, and as a PR campaign, really, and it will allow us to open a dialogue and a debate in the mainstream through entertainment in that sector, and in news as well, and allow us to open that dialogue about holy wars, about, you know, jihad, about crusades, about these issues, and talk about them, because for far too long they've been just silent. People just, oh my God, the J word, oh my God, like, these guys don't understand what the J word is. I think it's not Jack Daniels, mate. It's definitely jihad if it's your face. You know what I mean? That's what you can't trick these guys, man. They know what you're up to. Okay, Google switches on and starts talking. You know what I mean? It's just freaked out. You guys, it's always listening. So basically, you know, if you're going to be talking about these things, you want to be open about them. And this project deals with it head on. No shying away from it. We need to discuss these topics. This is what's happening. Talk about it. It's happening in the far right community. It's happening with far right supremacists. It's happening in, you know, America. It's happening over here. It's happening, you know, it's happening all over the place. Talking about the greatest British jihadi. Can you name me the greatest British jihadi? Guy Fawkes.
Yeah.
Guy Fawkes is the greatest British jihadi. He took
Greatest
freaking tons of.
No,
He is. He's
Yeah,
the
yeah,
greatest
true,
British
yeah.
jihadi.
Yeah.
And he took.
We celebrate him though, don't
And
we?
he celebrated. You know, his failure is celebrated.
Yeah.
And basically, you know, well, some people probably put it, you know, good on you, and they wear the masks and all of that is an honor to him, anonymous and all of that. He's some sort of figure of, like, you know, you got to see. But anyway, so he's the greatest British jihadi, and then you got his cause: Catholics versus Protestants. Then you had the IRA, Catholics versus Protestants and all of that, still religion. And all. Then you got the you know, you've got got people that are dealing with the far rights. You know, Anders Breivik going around shooting people, and was it Norway?
Norway, yeah.
It was Norway
yeah.
when it did
Yeah.
that, you know, killed all these people. And then you got the individuals from the Muslim world as well. Out of 2 billion people, if you think there are no morons and people that are struggling with faith, or there are people who are not, you know, who had enough and they just think that's the way, out of 2 billion people, you're going to get people that are not going to be able to think straight and carry out actions that they would regret for the rest of their lives. But then they make a very huge impact on us, because one person that makes the problem is that if one person carries out an attack,
it represents all.
it represents 2 billion people.
Yeah.
Because the cameras go, woof,
Yeah.
look at this guy.
Yeah.
That's Islam.
Yeah.
So if we don't do something to tackle that, then no one else is going to do that. And that's what Erin Terror is dealing with. It's dealing with a huge problem. We don't have no PR campaigns, and this is what it's dealing with. And we're finding more support from a lot of non-Muslims want to support this, because they don't want to live in a world that we're currently heading towards.
SubhanAllah, it's interesting that, you know, the type of stuff that you do, mashallah, big projects, a lot of money involved, a lot of state-of-the-art cameras, and, you know, a lot of just amazing stuff, basically, and very, very expensive. And it's kind of funny, because if you ever saw us doing our shoot,
I have.
Oh, he has. Don't you remember
No, he hasn't. Like, it is so rough that you would walk away from you would walk away.
I would never walk away. I remember where I came from.
You end up donating, which obviously you're open to. GoFundMe, the Muslim Face. I'm joking. There's no GoFundMe yet.
I've even taken on a project to try and work with ELM to help them to set up a channel and this, that, the other, making sure that all other mosques as well start being more transparent. Every single mosque should have an outlet where they record their khutbahs, or they do something that shows what they're about, and community.
What's happening in the mosque?
In the mosque, every single mosque needs to step up. So, you know, ELM's doing it, a few other places. They need to all step up. They need to all step up. If it doesn't have to be a full channel, doesn't have to be a full thing, but they need to create content.
We need to get out there,
They need to get out there.
Confronts that stigma.
Man, everyone's watching their stuff on the phone. You see people, they don't even know what they're crossing the road or not. They just got their heads down, like literally.
Yeah.
Seriously, I saw it. Just walking around like zombies.
Literally,
Weird,
yeah.
pretty much. I'm one.
You're one of those.
I'm a zombie, pretty much.
It's like, how can people actually see your projects, what you've done, if what's out there?
No, I wouldn't promote you to go to the cinema, but that's where you might have to go.
No, but the type of stuff that you're working on.
We're aiming
stuff you're working
we're
on now,
aiming
the
to put our
project.
content. The aim is to get our feature films into, because cinema at the moment is still free for all. So what I mean by that is cinema, Netflix, Hulu, Amazon, these sort of platforms that don't care about news. All right. They're not worried about news.
Yeah.
They don't have these commissioning. You know, they just want
Content.
They want audience.
Yeah.
Okay.
They want audience. So if this content is going to bring audience
People
to
in,
them
then
and
that's what they're worried
that's
about.
what they worry about.
Yeah.
So TV and satellite is all about
Well, yeah.
what's this?
Political,
But cinema and these more online platforms that are growing, they're there to give us an opportunity to be able to create content that is that's where we want to be basically. Inshallah,
So
may Allah make it easy for us.
At the moment, where those videos that you're speaking
we
about.
got some stuff. There's a short film going to go through festivals, and there's a few things going through the festival circuit. Muslims of London is free for anyone to watch.
Where is that?
That's online. That's on muslimsoflondon.com. You can then find the links to it.
Yeah.
Even on Facebook, it's like MOL the series.
Yeah.
But yeah, you can just go onto muslimsoflondon.com. And then you'll find it through there, and there's other links to go onto the videos. There's a few. There's another one that we're going to launch at this in this month. So we're still producing. So if you actually, there might be a case where some people might be featured in it or whatnot.
So are you saying potentially we could have like a Muslimic Netflix film?
Yeah, I mean that's
Netflix.
they're already. No, I'm saying
Musflix.
I think that's like. I think there's a few people trying some stuff with that, but we're not there yet. Are we there yet? No. Are we there yet? No. Are we there yet?
Yeah.
No. And plus, we shouldn't be there. We should be creating content that goes onto the non-Muslim platform. Because again, if we do a Muslim platform, it again defeats the purpose.
No, I was saying like a
on
series.
Netflix,
That's what I was saying. Like
Yeah,
on
like
Netflix.
you got one program has come on and everyone's like raving about it, Ertugrul or something like that.
Oh, that's so good.
There you go. Everyone's
So
raving
good.
about it. But compared to what I work on, it's like poorly produced. But it's still, we think is great. So it also shows that Netflix doesn't care, in that the Muslims are the heroes.
It's in Turkish,
So
like the whole thing in Turkish. You're reading subtitles, but
it's
it's
about
so good.
Crusades, it's about this and that and whatnot. So again, they don't care. So they've shown their stance on that. So they're like, okay, bring your content, but it better be good.
So it shows that they're willing to kind of take content on. So long
want
as it
that.
brings
They
people
want
in.
Middle East.
Yeah.
They're going to get Middle Eastern audience by telling them, showing them all the stuff that's just ripping into them and just like making war movies where American snipers and this and that. Is that what the Arabs want to see? No, the Arabs want to see their own heroes.
Yeah.
The Muslims want to see their own heroes.
Yeah.
It's not rocket science. They're not. They can't demonize. They got to have a balance again. So Netflix is providing a balance. They're like, okay, great, bring it on. You want to show that? Is that what you guys want to see? Bring it on. But again, to get in there, it's not easy. You can't just walk in there and say, here's my Muslim face and this is go in there. It's like you need to create content that's going to, may Allah make it easy for us. Simple as that. Put effort and then our Muslim face will be accepted everywhere, inshallah.
I mean, that's serious.
People hate our Muslim face and this like, we need to do something about this. Because this is supposed to be like, this is sunnah of the Messenger, sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And although actually that's become a bit of a fashion statement in the thing as well. So it's kind of weird. So partly it's hipster and partly it's hated.
Exactly. If you take the Muslim face logo filmed with the words away, then just
put a tattoo on there. It's done. It's in Shoreditch and it's blue beard as well. So it's all done.
There you go.
There you go.
Put a big tash.
I mean, so where? Like,
but we haven't got a tash on there. Did you notice that? So it gives it the Muslim touch. It gives the Muslim touch. If you give it a big tash,
yeah, it would not be.
We need to take a tash and put it on there.
Cool. What were you saying?
I was saying that. Moving on swiftly. Where can people find like bit from information about you, like when you're gonna be just because you mentioned you're gonna do
oh yes, okay. So we're gonna do that. It's not
are you active on social media?
That's
It'd
happening
be
slowly.
interesting.
We've got somebody to come on board. We've been focusing on creating content more than we've been focusing on dissemination. So we're starting to work on a dissemination strategy. We're working on small budgets at the moment. But one thing that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has blessed us with is that if I turn up on set tomorrow, we've got a lot of support from the filming industry. We've got a lot of support from people like Panavision, Pinewood, all sorts of big companies. So we bring a lot of value to on set, like financial value, because that's money to hire those sort of cameras and things. It's not cheap. So we're able to get those things, and we've got good relationships. So we're saving some favors to make a feature film. So this year our aim is to make our first feature film, inshallah.
Inshallah, may Allah make it easy.
Ameen.
Any last bit of advice
I would say
To
as I
us
said,
personally.
to us personally,
Yeah, so I would say
to what we're trying to do?
yeah,
Because
so you reaffirm your intention. Think about it hard. Make your dua. Find out what you're targeting. What is it? Figure it out before you make your dua. Like, where are you going with this? And make dua to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Make effort, make sacrifice, and treat Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala like your boss. Better than like the ultimate boss. Treat him like your like the ultimate project manager. That you're going to go back to him and answer to him next year with what you've achieved, and then ask for the next phase of help. Like you would go to your project, you go to your boss and say, "Oh yeah, I've done all these tasks. I've done this. I achieved my targets this year. I need that. Come on, I want that project. I want that pay rise. What is it? I want that bonus, or I want that promotion." Yeah. Then treat Allah like that. Treat Allah more important. Give Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala more respect than your boss. Treat Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala more importantly than as a resource provider than money and everything else. So have that connection with your creator, and then things will open up for you that you will never imagine. I can't imagine. Stuff that I do, it's just like I would have never thought I'd do anything like this. In fact, I didn't want it as well. So imagine you don't want it. You don't want the. That's another thing.
Don't want it.
Don't desire it. Don't desire it. Don't desire the position. Don't desire. Be willing to let it go. Realize that, and put steps in place for somebody to take over if you're going to drop dead, because tomorrow you could drop dead.
What you mean?
So it's just like,
in Allah.
have trust in Allah.
Yeah.
Tie your camel. If just make sure you've got your intention, effort, sacrifice. It's a relationship with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Have it like that you would have as a project manager, and then make sure that you've got things in place for contingency plans if things go wrong for yourself personally. So may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala allow us to have those and grant us success beyond our wildest imaginations.
Ameen. Jazakallah khair for that. It would be interesting to one day to maybe have you with your skeleton suit and stuff like that.
Of course. If it would have been good if I bought some footage and you could have just.
Yeah, we could have just played some.
No,
Hey,
soon,
inshallah,
next
we're
time.
gonna hopefully this is the first of many to come, inshallah.
Inshallah, yeah.
Because we definitely appreciate your advice. But Jazakallah khair for coming today.
No worries.
And
I'm hungry.
yeah,
Let's
there's
I want food.
yeah, that's what we've ordered it. So hopefully should be here. Brothers and sisters,
Another 20 minutes
Jazakallah khair for tuning in today. We hope you guys benefited. Until next time, hopefully next Friday. Take care of yourself.
Inshallah.
Have a nice Ramadan. Make the most of Ramadan because it's only
Not much left.
there's about 14
2 weeks.
days.
Today's the 16th, isn't it?
It feels like the 8th.
Oh, is it the 16th?
It's the 16th.
It
Today's the
went quick.
16th.
No way.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what. It
So it's
feels
potentially
It
about
feels
30
like yesterday already. It was the 13th
Yeah.
on the calendar.
Yes,
Yeah.
subhanallah, time is
Time
flying.
is flying.
Ah.
Also,
Make use of it.
another make the most of it. Obviously, if it hasn't been going that well, hasn't been going according to plan, to ourselves even, let's try to make the most of it and try to do more ibadah, try to do more charity, try to pray more. Can't fast more. there's not more you can fast right now.
Make
But-
your fast more valuable.
Make your fast more valuable. Let's try to do things. Even ourselves, let's try to do more things. Try to do more groundwork. Try to do a few things, inshallah, charity work as well. Another thing as well about the recent, we found out about our brother Ali Banat, passed away recently. Our hearts, go out to him and his family. SubhanAllah, amazing, amazing journey, inspiration as well to every single one of us, I think. So may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala grant him a high place in Jannatul Firdaus with close proximity to the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make his grave from a garden, from one of the gardens of Jannah. That being said, brothers and sisters, remember us and all the Muslimin who are alive and who have passed away. Take care of yourself until next time. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum salam.